1926, the Benjamin Franklin Bridge has linked Philadelphia and Camden and has been one of the dominant sites on the Delaware Valley skyline. Upon its completion, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world and was planned as a public transportation focal point for the region. Joe, we're looking at a concrete footing and the anchorage for the cable on the Ben Franklin Bridge. On the Philadelphia side, this is. And we can see here on this plan without too much trouble that there was originally planned to be a tunnel for the Frankfurt elevated line.
The bridge was really built for people who didn't own cars as much as for those who did own cars back in the 1920s. So they built a lot of pedestrian and public transportation options right into the bridge. They incorporated that for pedestrians, for people who wanted to ride trolleys. That was all built into the original concept of the bridge. By 1926, there were more cars on the road, and some of this never came to be, but it's kind of a view of how they saw the world right after World War I. What we know today as the Philadelphia Plaza was dug out and was originally supposed to be a major interchange for a trolley system.
How would people recognize the spot today?
The lightning bolt statue. We'll go look at it.
That sounds great. Let's do that.
Okay.
Well, Joe, I never imagined that a bridge could have a basement. We can see the Patco line runs right underneath the bridge in the basement down here on this side. This is going over toward New Jersey. But as I look to see the train tracks coming back west from New Jersey, there's an enormous cavern here underneath the bridge.
It was originally going to be a trolley terminal underneath the Philadelphia Plaza of the Ben Franklin Bridge. But by the time they opened the bridge in 1926, the world had changed. People didn't want to ride trolleys anymore. Now they wanted to ride buses. The tracks stayed there, but the trolleys never ran, and this huge cavern under the Philly Plaza has never been used.
There would be different kind of terminal appointments, a ticket booth, ticket office, things like that, right down here under the bridge.
It's going to be a busy place, as originally planned.
Now this is sort of like a ghost town of a station down here now. So we're also directly underneath, you said, the Philly Plaza side, and directly above us is the
bolt of lightning. Did people see the Gucci statue? The bolt of lightning is right there. So as people go around the plaza to either get on or off the Ben Franklin Bridge, they're right above us now.
So now the next time I drive over the bridge, I'll be thinking about the terminal that was originally planned to be down here,
That's right.
but never ever opened. As Joe and I walked around, I saw evidence of just how cave-like this long abandoned site had become. This actually is a stalagmite, and this would be a kind of a calcium spire that grows up from the ground in a cave when you have calcium deposits dripping onto the ground in one spot. The water sort of slides off the top, but the calcium builds up and makes this little mound. So where does the liquid come from? Well, the liquid comes from all the way up top overhead. You can see soda straw stalactites growing down from the ceiling. Moisture that leaches through the deck of the bridge comes down through the concrete, forms the extra long soda straw thin pipe of calcium, and then it comes all the way down, drops off of that, and comes down and forms the stalagmite at the base. Those distinctive stone towers of the bridge also have stories to tell about transportation and about how a bridge is held together. They're just partially underground, but for a story like this, we'll stretch a point.
There's another place that was opened, that was planned for public access, but was never opened in here. Wow.
We're up at the walkway level. If you wanted to walk across the bridge, you could come in here. This was designed as a public area. We put up these murals of all different types of transportation, steamboats, sailboats, early locomotives, what they call a flying machine, which was a stagecoach to our way of thinking.
And I can see here there's even a dirigible or a zeppelin on the wall, as well as going back as early as 1492 with Christopher Columbus's Santa Maria.
It was designed to honor many different forms of transportation. And there are 3 other anchorages that are identical to this on the bridge, and all of them have the identical artwork.
All with the same intention to be used by the pedestrian walking across the bridge, using the public transportation system on the bridge that never actually was used.
That's correct.
This is amazing.
This is the stone building that you see on the Camden side of the bridge. There's another identical structure to this underneath the stone building on the Philadelphia side. We call them anchorages because this is where the cable comes in and anchors around a big steel beam, and the tension of those 2 beams is what holds the bridge up.
Now, as I look out the window over here, Joe, I can actually see water through those windows.
Right.
So this chamber extends down how far?
Oh, it's several hundred feet under the water level, and the footings go all the way down into the bedrock, which is probably about 130 feet down beneath the surface.
Wow. So even as we look down here and we see the floor of this chamber, that's not the end of this.
It's not at all. And remember, when this was built in the 1920s, basically the only way to dig this out was guys with picks and shovels. This is what holds our bridge up.
Wow. This is absolutely incredible. I think the only thing I've ever seen that was anything near this spectacular is maybe the structure at Kennedy Space Center for the launch vehicles. It's the only thing I've seen anything like this. This is incredible. So now, how many strands of cable are there down here?
It's about 16,000 strands in each cable. There's 2 cables each side of the bridge. And there's about 26,000 miles of cable, of wire, when you put them all together. They had a machine that would just take 1 strand at a time, go up and over the towers, back into the anchorage, wrap around, and then back over the towers.
One strand at a time.
1 strand at a
To
time.
do all this work through here. The beams that these are tied around here or roped around here, these are now connected to the concrete anchorage down beneath this.
Right. And eventually all the weight gets transferred down into the bedrock underneath the bridge. For all intents and purposes, the cable is the bridge. If the cable goes, you don't have a solid bridge anymore. So the integrity of these wires is extremely important to the long-term future of both this bridge and the Walt Whitman.
So if you keep the cables, you keep the bridge.
That's correct.
For over 75 years, the bridge has linked Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And in that time, the Market, Frankfort, and Broad Street lines have linked the neighborhoods of Philadelphia. Each year, passengers log over 1 million miles spread over 52 stations. And late at night, as the trains return to their terminals, SEPTA's maintenance crews come in to work in the tunnels to keep the tracks in working order.